Can we chat? I feel like we have something to chat about. Stitchy feels like he has something to chat about too. I want to talk about those things that are maybe a struggle for us part-timers that are not struggles for full-timers because they're full-timing. I realize that has its own struggles and issues, but let's talk about what it's like to work a full-time job and try and camp an RV part-time. What are some of the issues that you face? I know some of the issues that I face. Ready for a talk? About the stuff. You know, the stuff that comes in from the RV after your last camping trip. You know, you may have grabbed your towels or your sheets or your dirty clothes, and so you've run laundry, and if you're like us, our RV does not stay on the property when it's in storage. So it goes away before I have a chance to get the laundry done and put it back inside. So what do? Well, this is probably not, you know, some brainiac kind of a thing, but we have a laundry basket that's collapsible and soft that in the RV it lives in the bathtub to collect our dirty clothes, and we just pile it up and haul it inside, straight to the laundry room, straight into the washer, and then everything gets refolded. And then it lives in our spare bedroom until we're ready, and where it collects other things that came in from the RV. One of the things that we've added to make my life easier, John's life easier, and getting stuff back and forth into the RV is this great rolling cart. Picked it up at Costco. One of my workmates had it, and she was using to haul things back and forth in and out. And it has wheels on it, and we just stick it in between the refrigerator and the banquette while we're traveling. And you can see all of the things that we have to load up, and that doesn't even include the cooler yet. So tomorrow I'll probably be making a grocery run, you know, with a list. We're going camping starting next weekend, and we are looking forward to it. But I have a really busy week ahead of me, and I'm just not sure when I will get to the grocery store, so I want to have it as prepared as possible so that we can just pull out on Friday and go down and set up. But between now and then, we have a lot of work to do. So our tip for the day, for leaving day, is have something. I'm very fortunate that I only work part-time on Friday. So John comes home and we leave right away. So it's become an issue. He picks up fried chicken, and this is just baked chicken from our local King Soopers. This was an 8-piece pack, and I grabbed out 2 thighs and a leg for him to eat in the car or in the truck while we're going, so we don't waste a half an hour on a Friday evening when it gets dark at 7:30. One thing all RVers have to worry about is water, right? And but when you're a weekend warrior or part-time RVing, you have a little bit of a different situation because you have to do it on Friday afternoon right before you leave town, which is what I'm doing right now. So we drain our tanks after every camping trip, so we don't have water sitting in the tank for maybe a couple of weeks and getting whatever is sitting down there, kind of, you know, the plastic or whatever seeping into it. So before we leave on every trip, this is what I'm doing. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's morning in Little House of Big. So continuing on with the Weekend Warrior Woes, here's one of them. You know, when you pull in after dark, you don't spend a lot of time setting up before you go to bed. So we didn't. This is what we have to do this morning. The one thing about having a small camper is that a big mess only takes a few minutes to deal with. But we have to deal with it this morning. But first, before we clean up, we're gonna have some coffee and some sunshine, and then we'll spend, 15-20 minutes putting the camper to right. Our weekend will be good.
Or to left.
Or to left. No, to right.
Right.
But who can complain when right out your camper is this gorgeous, gorgeous morning. The other thing that happens is I carry way too much food, but I can't seem to help myself because I almost refuse to meal plan when we're on weekends. I just feel like it's the weekend, it should have some flexibility, and if I take hamburger and we don't want to do tacos, we should be able to do burgers. Yeah, is that silly? Probably, but that's the way I've always cooked, is what am I in the mood for and not what's on the menu. So I carry things in the camper that I can throw together, soup or food with whatever I have on board. So I usually plan the protein and have an idea of what we want to do with the protein, but I'm not attached to it. However, the drawback to that is that my refrigerator is usually packed, and I usually end up bringing back the cooler with a lot of stuff in it. So, Weekend Warrior Woe. Packing too much. Yeah, haven't mastered that one yet. Weekend Warrior Woe. Waiting at the dump station. The face as we're waiting at the dump station. Looks like we're fourth in line, so it's probably going to be 20 minutes or so. Yay!
Yay.
A weekend warrior woe that every weekend warrior has to worry about is putting the rig away after a nice weekend. Again, our rig doesn't stay on our property, so we have to allocate an extra amount of time to empty it, get the tanks drained, and then go down to the storage unit and back her in. There's a meme out there that says, sorry for what I said when we were backing up the RV, and it's funny because it's true. So weekend warrior woe. You got to deal with it. You got to put it away so that you can pull it back out and enjoy it another time. So our idea on this is not to just tell you all of the bad reasons why being a weekend warrior is kind of a pain in the butt. But my father has a saying that says, don't ever present a problem without presenting a solution. So I like to live by that, although you can't always live by that. So our first problem was stuff. What do you do with the stuff? The stuff that comes in, the stuff that has to go out. Have a system. Number one, have a system, something that works for you. Is it a bin? Is it a catch-all? Is it a plastic bin? Whatever it is, make it work for you and your family and make it easy so you don't have to stress about, did I get the bacon dish or the butter back into the rig? Number two was shopping. Somebody's got to do it. Not everybody loves it. So have a list, have a plan, work it in when it works out for you. Shop from your pantry. What do you have on hand already that you'd normally feed your family? It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be time consuming. Just make it work for your family. This was just one of our tips on how to get out of town fast enough. It was plan ahead for your dinner on that day that you're leaving. So in our case, we like to pick up something that's already pre-done, so I'm not cooking dinner at 8 o'clock at night and we're both hungry when we're trying to park the rig, because that is a recipe for disaster. Number three, weekend warrior woe, gotta have water. And it's actually not, just for weekend warriors. Everybody who RVs has to deal with water. Whether you have water in your tanks, whether you have water in a container, water, you got to have it. So again, it's about not getting stressed out about it and about who does it and who doesn't do it. It's about just taking care of what you need to take care of and allotting enough time to make it happen. One of our friends told us that they always carried water from known sources, so they didn't necessarily always trust the water that might be available at like a state park. Because you don't know what's in that water. So their advice to us is if you have a rig that's strong enough, haul your own water. So we fill up at our house. It makes it easy when we pull in. We don't have to stop at the faucet there at the camp and fill up water. And that just helps us stay nicer to each other once we get there. Number 4, don't stress. Don't stress about the stuff that you've stuck in because you had a great plan and you're going to be all organized and you have these bags and they've collected all your stuff, and then you just start loading that stuff in, and I don't know what happens, but you just start loading all that stuff in and it just starts piling up, and by the time you wake up the next morning, your rig looks like something bad happened to it on the inside. So don't stress out. Enjoy your coffee, enjoy your family, enjoy the sunshine coming up in the rig, and just plan out that you're going to take a half an hour to make your rig right, and then you'll be able to enjoy it for the rest of the weekend. So again, it's about taking a deep breath and staying within the lines, your own lines that you draw of what stresses you out and what you can live with. I can live with a mess for the first part, but by 10 o'clock, that mess has got to be gone. So, number 5, meal planning. I've already said that I'm not the greatest meal planner. And that is something I'm working on. So if you're a meal planner, I'm so proud of you, and good way to go. But again, this is a no stress situation. So for me, trying to plan every little thing that we're going to eat sometimes doesn't work out. I'd rather have a general plan. Like I said, I plan the protein, and then I carry, extras that I can do multiple things with that protein. That's what works for us. That may not work for you. So have a loose plan, have a tight plan, what works for your family. Again, don't stress about it. Just breathe, enjoy the time with your family, and if you are missing an ingredient, so what? Punt. You can do this. Number 6, the dump station. So dumping your tanks is not fun. It's not something we go, yay, it's time to dump our tanks. And sometimes, depending on the park that you're at or the campground you're at, the line for the dump station may be quite long. And some of those really big fifth wheels have really big tanks. And so having to wait in line in a stinky line for people who are dumping a lot, it can get frustrating. Again, I just say, don't stress. You had a lovely weekend. There's no reason to start a fight or aggravation, right off the bat before you've even driven out of the camp. Know that this is just part of it, and relax into it, and make light of it. Pull up some music, jam to the dump station, and just call it, good. Be aware, but don't make it a mess, any messier than it already is. And then the last one, that parking the rig into the storage unit. It is what it is. It takes the time that it does. It's a little bit of a pain to have to add an extra hour and a half or 2 hours to the end of your weekend. You may be tired, you may be grumpy, you may be hungry. How can you combat that? Take a deep breath, make sure that you have a snack, and just recognize and build in that those 2 hours are part of your weekend time. And you're just going to have to take care of this. And if you're snipping at each other, it's not going to make backing that rig into its spot any easier. So I highly recommend snacks in the truck and just finding a time and making it an extra time that you and your family and your spouse or your partner can just enjoy each other and recognize that it just is what it is. So this is not about just those Weekend Warrior Woes. These are about combating, having a plan, having an action step, and then being able to relax and enjoy it. And if it all doesn't work out, then it's okay. It's all going to be okay, because there's next weekend. So go make your plans for your combating your Weekend Warrior Woes. What are some of yours that you have? I want to hear them. John wants to hear them, because maybe it's something we haven't thought about. What's your plan? How do you combat those things that you just have to get through because you are a Weekend Warrior? So peace out, coffee up, camping's coming.